proudly presents the fiercest intellectual battleground of the year, the third edition of the Gam-Ind Interstate Debate Championship. The stakes, nothing less than the coveted trophy of glory, and don't forget, a hall of legends already has some names carved in history. Kumba Esba, best debater of the first edition, Fatu Faye, best debater of the second edition, and David S. Jiba, the most promising debater, now poised to conquer the future.
The bone in question remains: who will etch their name in history this year? Who will rise above the rest and claim the throne? At the heart of it all, the adjudication desk, powered by seasoned debaters and adjudicators from the University of the Gambia Debate Association, UTGDA. This bench would ensure fairness, excellence, and brilliance in every ruling.
Registration is still on, still hesitant, still thinking, please don't, I will be there.
I will be there. We will be there. The only one missing might just be you. So, what are you waiting for? This won't be complete without you. This is the moment. This is the stage. Be there, where every word makes history. Good afternoon to our Gambian people and a very good evening to our fellow Indians. Welcome to the commencement of the third edition of the Gam-Ind Interstate Debate Championship. To begin with, we kindly urge you all to take a minute of your time to make your own individual prayers. Thank you. May the Almighty accept all our prayers.
Okay, once again, my name is Mustafa Sise, the Education Minister for the Non-Executive Council for the Association of Gambian Students in India. Okay, I'll be your host for today's online event. At this point, let me invite my co-host to actually introduce herself. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Cesar. Warm greetings to everyone. My name is Faye, Deputy Education Minister, and it's a great honor to co-host this session alongside my able boss as we open the third edition of the Gam-Ind Interstate Debate Championship. Thank you.
Okay, so and to officially open the championship, we now invite the able president of the Association of Gambian Students in India, Mr. Sajo A.K. Jaju. Please unmute and take the floor. Thank you very much.
You may confirm my audibility, please. Okay. Distinguished ninth executive members, our DRS alumni that joined us here, esteemed adjudicators, honorable debaters, state alcalos, my wonderful Gam-Ind babies, big boys, sons, daughters, big bros, sisters, mothers, dads, grannies, ladies and gentlemen, a wonderful good evening from the Indian side, and of course, good afternoon for those joining from Gambia and around the globe. It is with proud joy and pride that I welcome you to the third edition of the Gam-Ind Interstate Debate Championship. Tonight, or this afternoon, we gather as students, as torchbearers of knowledge, guardians of dialogue, and custodians of truth. Allow me first to extend my heartfelt acknowledgement to the impeccable and, of course, the impartial adjudication desk from the University of the Gambia Debate Association under the leadership of His Excellency, Mr. Al-Ghazim President of the 14th Executive Council of UTGDA. Your presence this minute means a lot to us. It renews a partnership kindled by the 8th Executive Council, a bond that reflects the bridge between Gambian students at home and, of course, those abroad. With reverence, I also salute our PhD scholars who dignified the very first edition in 2023 by sitting as adjudicators, setting the standard of excellence upon which we continue to build. Honorable members, I equally rise to salute the state alcalos, the unwavering custodians of our Gam-Ind family and preservers of our Gambian heritage, from Assam, Delhi, Haryana, Punjab, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. Your commitment and service remain the pillars upon which this noble platform thrives. And to, of course, our this acknowledgement would not have been complete without talking about the heartbeat of this association, who are our alumni. To our former executives who laid the stones upon which we work, we say thank you for your foresight, sacrifices, and leadership. Your presence and continued support reminds us that Gam-Ind is not just a student association, but a lifelong family. Whether you served as presidents, ministers, or simply as committed members of Gam-Ind, you are the soldiers on which we proudly stand. This third edition is described or dedicated as much to you as it is to the competitors in our midst today, because without your legacy, there will be no stage for us to continue this journey of excellence. So welcome our wonderful alumni family. But ladies and gentlemen, why are we here? Why do we debate? Is debate not merely an argument? Well, one may say no, it is the art of listening deeply, of questioning critically, and of speaking truth with courage. But I'll say, in a world where misinformation travels faster than light, debate answers with reason. In a time where silence can be mistaken for consent, debate gives us voice. And in a society where the future belongs to those who dare to ask why, because I'd always tell people, do not be the yes, yes type of people. By all means, try to, at some point, be on the no side of things. So debate becomes not just an academic exercise, but a civic duty. Through debate, we learn that disagreement is not enmity, but opportunity. Through debate, we discover that ideas clash, but minds expand. And through debate, we come to understand that the measure of a people is not in how loudly they speak, but in how wisely they reason. From Haryana, the first champions, to Gujarat, the defending champions, and now to the 10 states that would be debating in this championship. The question is no longer whether you can speak, but whether your voice will echo into history. So let us rise to this moment, not just as competitors, but as visionaries, not just as debaters, but as nation builders. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third edition of the Gam-Ind Interstate Debate Championship, where education meets entertainment, where passion meets purpose, and where every voice matters. Let the clash of ideas begin. Let the spirit of debate ignite, and let history be made. That being said, I officially declare the third edition of the Gam-Ind Interstate Debate open. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sadio Ekebaju, the current president for the Association of Gambian Students in India. Okay.
Next on our agenda, we'll have a brief overview of the Gam-Ind Interstate Debate Championship by our able Secretarial Department. Secretarial Department, the floor is yours.
Yes, am I audible? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We'll just like to give you a very brief overview of the Gam-Ind Interstate Debate Championship. The Gam-Ind Interstate Debate Championship, this is the inauguration night of the third edition of the Gam-Ind Interstate Debate Championship. So, honorable ladies and gentlemen, members of the UTGDA, especially the Adjudication Desk, State Alcalos, distinguished alumni, esteemed debaters, and proud Gambians, and non-Gambians joining across India and beyond. Tonight and this very afternoon in the Gambia, we gather to ignite the flames of history once again. Under the vibrant leadership of His Excellency Mr. Adama Barrow, the President of the 7th Executive Council, we gather to ignite the flames of history once again. On the vibrant leadership of His Excellency Mr. Adama Barrow, the President of the 7th Executive Council, we gather to ignite the flames of history once again. On the vibrant leadership of His Excellency Mr. Adama Barrow, the President of the 7th Executive Council, we gather to ignite the flames of history once again.
Honorable SG, you are not audible from my end, and I believe it's the same for every other person. Deputy SG, are you still here with us?
Sorry, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I kind of lost connection there. As I was saying, this is the inauguration night of the third edition of the Gambia Interstate Debate Championship. And tonight and this afternoon in the Gambia, we gather to ignite the flames of history once again. Under the vibrant leadership of Her Excellency, Ms. Adama Barry, the President of the 7th Executive Council, the Gam-Ind Interstate Championship was first launched in 2023. That maiden edition saw 6 states, that is Delhi, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, Haryana, Maharashtra, and Madhya Pradesh, a battle with intellect and passion. And when the dust settled, Haryana emerged as the first ever champion. In the final adjudicated by the PhD scholars of the Gam-Ind, Kumba Esba was crowned the best debater of the first edition. The torch was carried forward in 2024 under the bold leadership of His Excellency, Mr. Ibrahim Ambo, the President of the 8th Executive Council. The President of the 8th Executive Council. 7 states answered the call: Delhi, Haryana, Punjab, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, and Gujarat. That year, Andhra Pradesh rose from semi-finalists to finalists, but it was Gujarat, the only state to reach the final twice in a row, that claimed the crown. Partnered with the University of the Gambia Debate Association, the second edition was grander, it was louder, and it was more unforgettable. David S. Jeever, I, the Assistant Secretary General, was the most promising debater, whereas Fatufai, the current Deputy Education Minister of Gam-Ind, became the best debater of the second edition. And now, under the stewardship of the 9th Executive Council, through its Education Ministry, headed by Mr. Mustafa Sise, we welcome you to the third edition, the biggest yet, with 10 states in the area. 10 states in the arena: Assam, Delhi, Haryana, Punjab, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. For the very first time, the clash expands across so many states, adjudicated by the finest debaters and judges from the UTGDA. Dear audience, the question burns before us all. Haryana, the first champions; Gujarat, the defending champions. But who will etch their names on the trophy of destiny this year? With that, as debaters would say, Honorable Speaker, we proudly move to the next item on the agenda. Welcome to the third edition of the Gam-Ind Interstate Debate Championship. Let the battle of ideas begin. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. David, for that wonderful overview. So now we introduce our adjudicators from the University of the Gambia Debate Association, who will be guiding and assessing the debate today. And they are Ms. Fatou Boj, Mr. Kutubo Mbai, Mr. Musa Tamba, Ms. Jainaba Jamige, who is currently the Vice President for the University of the Gambia Debate Association, and Mr. Momodu Pite. We welcome you all once again. Thank you very much.
And of course, our contestants, the real stars of today, representing the state of Punjab and Madhya Pradesh. And they are Miss Ida Belde and Miss Fatima Fati, representing Punjab, and Mr. Demba Kamara and Mr. Madi Tarawale, representing Madhya Pradesh. Wishing you all the best.
At this point, once again, we invite Ms. Jainaba Jamigay, the Vice President of the University of the Gambia Debate Association, for some quick remarks. If you are with us, Ms. Jamigay, you are welcome.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, sure, you are audible. You're audible. Please go ahead.
Hello guys, am I audible?
You are loud and clear,
Sorry, just a minute, please. Let me just step out so that the internet connection, please. I'm so sorry. Hello, good afternoon, everybody. I do apologize for that. The network was a bit poor over here. Good afternoon and then good evening to the members of the Executive Council of Gam-Ind Association in India and to the members of the 14th Executive Council of the University of the Gambia Debate Association, to our debaters, the listeners and fellow students of both respective universities. It is both an honor and a privilege to deliver an opening remark on behalf of the 13th Executive Council of the University of the Gambia Debate Association on the occasion of the official launch of the Association of Gambian Students in India Interstate Debate Championship. Today marks not just the beginning of a championship, but the ignition of a journey of growth, courage, self-discovery, and empowerment. A journey where debaters are not just here to argue, but inspire, not just to compete, but transform. As an association that has long championed the art of speaking, truth to the power, and standing firm in the arena of ideas and debate, we know that effective communication is not just a skill, it is a superpower. And yet, we also know that to truly thrive in today's world, students need more than eloquence. They need empathy, leadership, confidence, and unwavering belief in their own potentials. That is exactly what this championship stands for. To the executives, to the executives of the Gambian students in India, we thank you all for believing in the University of the Gambia Debate Association. Thank you for the continued partnership with the University of the Gambia Debate Association. And we do hope that this championship On behalf of the association, we would encourage all the debaters to work with us on this journey with commitment, with compassion, and with confidence. On behalf of the 14th Executive Council, I wish to extend our heartfelt gratitude to the GAM India executives for the continued trust and partnership. Thank you so much, and we look forward to a successful debate.
Thank you so much, Madam VP, for those remarks, and thank you also for acknowledging our partnership. It is an honor to work with you guys again. Next on our agenda, that is the highlight of the day. We now proceed to the commencement of the debate. We hand over to the adjudication desk to begin the proceedings. Thank you. The adjudication team, please, if you're set, the floor is yours. We can proceed with the commencement of the debate.
Thank you so much, Fatfai. Please give us a moment, so that the Speaker of the House would get set and get back to you guys.
Oh, okay, then. Thank you so much, Ms. Moj.
All right. Am I audible, please? All right, I believe I am. Thank you very much, Honorable Moderator. So, on behalf of the University of the Gambia Debate Association, again, I would want to extend a huge congratulations to the executive of the Gam-Ind students. And it is, of course, a privilege and an honor to be part of the adjudicating team once again. So I may not be doing much talking as usual because today is the D-Day. I may not be in any position to give details of what is expected of the debaters because I believe that has already been done by my colleagues through the training. So what I would do is I'll just go through the expectations that we have for the debaters and let them give us a show. But again, I must again reiterate my excitement to be here, and I'm very optimistic that we would have a very successful championship yet again.
Sorry, Mr. Bide, if it's not an issue, may you kindly turn on your camera, please?
Okay, just a minute then. Am I audible again? I am on pots. All right, thank you very much for that. So as I was saying, I would just highlight the expectations from the judges to the debaters. But I am again, I must say that I'm really excited to have contestants, those who contested last year, take up leadership responsibilities and working towards sustaining this laudable initiative. So first is the content. So the content carries a huge chunk of the max. It's 40%. So we'll be looking at the argument, how well you argue. That is 20 marks. Thinking analysis, 10 marks. Your research as well, which is very important. The president, during his remark, gave the importance of research and gave a comprehensible definition of what debate is all about. So the research is quite important. You will be graded for 10 marks for that. Again, the structuring, very important component of the debate. So where we'll be assessing your clarity, your role understanding, and the logical flow of your argument. So then we would also look at the rebuttals, which is 20 marks. So how well you define the key terms, depending on your responsibilities. How well you define the key terms, or how well you rebut the points that were presented before you came. Listening and engagement as well, 5 marks. UI, 5 marks. I'm sorry, I'm rushing through this, but I want to believe you were already taking to them. So it's just for the audience to understand what we are looking at. So the time, which is of course very much significant, is 10 marks. So your adherence to time, 5, the pacing, and also the final summary, which is of course important. So with that said, unless the team, if the adjudication team is set, we would begin the debate. So with the permission of the adjudicator, may I please confirm if all the debaters are here? I would seek the assistance of the moderators of this event to confirm the availability of all the debaters.
Yes, sure. Just a minute. Let's confirm whether they're.
Okay.
Please, to the debaters, if you're in, kindly raise your hand. Okay, thank you so much. You may lower your hands. Mr. Peter, they are all present.
All right, thank you very much. So if the House is set, we would hear from the first debater, or from the first speaker, that is the Prime Minister. Prime Minister, if you said, we are all yours.
Okay, am I audible, please? Okay. Overcoming poverty is not a gesture of charity, it is an act of justice. A mother in Basse will not pray for a commission of inquiry. Instead, she will pray that her child gets medication when she goes to the hospital. Honorable Speaker of the House, moderator, worthy opponent, and value audience, greetings to you all. Honorable Speaker, allow me to give you the structure of my debate. I will remind the House about the motion, set the parameters of the debate, define the key terms, give my substantive argument backed by facts and statistics, pre-rebuttal, summarize, and in summary, I will conclude. Now, to remind the House about the motion, this House believes that the Local Government Commission of Inquiry is a misplaced priority. Now, the parameter. Honorable Speaker, let me be clear about the scope of this debate. This debate is not about whether corruption is bad, but about what deserves urgent attention in the Gambia today, when youths are jobless, hospitals underfunded, and farmers neglected. Spending scarce resources on a local government commission of inquiry is a misplaced priority. Now, to define the key terms, firstly, about the local government is a phrase which refers to the councils and municipalities across the Gambia, which are Banjul City Council, Kanifing Municipality, Brikama, and so on and so forth. Another phrase I have is Commission of Inquiry, a formal state-appointed body tasked with investigation of malpractice, mismanagement, and corruption in the local government. Another phrase that I have is misplaced priority, means that relative to the Gambians' current challenges, the inquiry is a wrong focus. My source is from DeepSeek. Now, Honorable Speaker of the House, allow me to educate my worthy opponents. Firstly, my first point is about youth unemployment. When our youth are depressed, are restless, every dollar spent on that inquiry theater is a dollar that is stolen from their future. Now, according to a survey done by Gambia Bureau of Statistics, labor force from 2023 to 2024, there is increase in unemployment rate from 10.64% to 10.9%. That means only 4% of the total youth population in the Gambia are in the labor force, which means many are outside looking for job or training or having skills that can help them. The alternative to this point is government is to build a vocational training ground across the Gambia where even rural people can have access to education and can have skill centers where you know that they will be learning skills. Another thing I have is the health. Health is underfunded. Of course, Gambians don't need any commission of inquiry. Instead, they need hospitals that can save lives. Now, according to the World Bank, Gambia has a maternal mortality rate of 458 dead per 100,000 live births in 2020, and one of the highest in the region. Can you imagine? And in our this budget 2025, our finance minister announced that only 9% of the budget is given to the health sector, which is far below the 15% of the Abuja Declaration target. Now, to talk about let's continue. Every Gambian mothers die giving birth. no commission report will save them, of course. What about the cough syrup that have killed more than 70 babies in our country because of fake medicine? If we can't save our children from fake drugs, then no commission is allowed to be called as a priority. Now, the alternative to this point is the government is to provide medicine across all hospitals in the country and also retain doctors, invest in maternal and child sector. Another thing that I want to talk about is political drill. Of course, every Gambians know about it. As the Standard newspaper reported 12th of March 2024, the certain Cyprus survey, over 80% of Gambians welcome the idea of the commission. However, they blame the timing. Can you imagine it? This commission was set up just couple of months before the local government election. I also ask again, and can we discuss the will of the people, dismiss the will of the people, and the warning of the councils, and the rare unity of the government opposition, allied authority, all pointing at the same thing? All pointing at the same conclusion. Now let me educate you a bit. I know my worthy opponent might come here and talk about accountability, building trust, but let me tell you, accountability, yes, accountability matters, but it does not only mean inquiries. The Jana Commission consumed millions of dollars, but left many recommendations unimplemented. Strong audit is accountability that delivers in our country. Now let's talk about the building of the trust. Of course, building trust is not built on watching endless hearings on the TV. It is built when Gambians walk into the clinic and find medicine, when a farmer gets support for his crop, when a young person got job in his own home country instead of risking the back way. Time comes from delivery, not paperwork. Now, Honorable Speaker, I will summarize my debate here. First, I have reminded the House about the motion, set the parameter of the House, define the key terms, give my substantive argument backed by facts and statistics, pre-rebut the baseless point that will be put forward by the opposition bench, and to conclude in, Gambians cannot eat commission, they cannot be healed by report, they deserve real solutions, and that is why this inquiry is a misplaced priority. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Prime Minister, for that deliberation. So please, I would want to seek the understanding of the audience that we would take some time to tabulate the points and hear from the next speaker.
On the battlefield of words, the Interstate Debate Championship has seen warriors rise, fall, and carve their names into history.
Before we step into this year's clash of champions, let's take a moment to rewind the last interstate debate. The fire, the thunder, the brilliance, where passion clashed with logic, where courage met conviction, and where voice echoed far beyond the stage. These were not just debates, they were battles of destiny.
My capacity as a deputy opposition leader, please allow me to give you a of my debate. First, I will start by noting baseless and the senseless points by the opposition party. This is the most opposition party ever seen. Strengthening the points of my beautiful Prime Minister, pinpoint the weaknesses of our educational system as the government, and then give alternatives on what we are going to do as a government.
The Prime Minister brought forward that the abolition of the death penalty was brought forward in September 2020. However, the Constitution of September 2020 had been rejected. So the abolition of this death penalty didn't happen in 2020. The Constitution being used was still the 1997 Constitution. And my Prime Minister here came with the fact that justice for the victims. Is it justice to take the life of a murderer, or is it revenge masked in justice?
Any comment with your question, please? You made mention of the weak security of the Gambia. Can you please tell us how the security of the Gambia is compared to other countries, please? I want to know, because as the government, we know that our security is very tight. So can you please tell us what the security about? Okay, maybe I should tell you of how big the security is. Go to the, let me tell, let's cite USA as an example. Go to the rivers of USA and try to migrate from one port to another and see whether you know it. Your security system is very weak. There are no police, no security in any of the waters. If they were security, then will they allow the migrants to leave the borders of the borders of the Gambia? So please get that into your head. Don't ask that question again. You know your government have weak security system. To the summary of my like a POI, please. Can you come in?
Yes, good evening. You claim an electoral malpractice, right? How do you reconcile this with the fact that the Gambia's 2021 election was praised for their transparency by both the EU and the ECOWAS observers?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for disgracing yourself. Since I feel misquoted and thereby I'll not even waste my time to answer the POI.
Now, as the dust settles from the past, a new storm is brewing. The question burns brighter than ever. Who will stand tall this year? Who will carry the torch of glory? The third edition of the Gam-Ind Interstate Debate Championship is here, where words cut sharper than swords, and only the strongest minds will prevail. Get ready, because history is about to be written again. The stage is set.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Prime Minister, for that. If the opposition leader is such, we would hear from him. But I forgot to emphasize something that was very important. I want to apologize to the Prime Minister. It does not bear any consequences on your points or on your deliberation. It just should have came before you started talking, and that was the issue of the time. So you've been timed, and you understand that you'll be speaking on 7 minutes, and there is protected and unprotected time, and there is POI as well. And again, I am not in any good position to get over the details of all of this, because I believe you were privy to them even before the start of the debate. But so for the audience, if you hear me clap, it means the first clap means the first minute is exhausted. The second clap means protected time is off. Sorry, yes, protected time is off when we're getting into, sorry, unprotected time is off when we're getting into protected time, so that the speaker is notified that you have 1 minute left. You do your summary as quick as possible. I did not chuckle because I want to ridicule anything. It's just so we've had some situations where we had to clap and the audience also followed us in clapping. So the first clap means unprotected time is over. Your time is not protected. The second clap means that unprotected time now is again on, and you're left with 1 minute to do your summary. And the final clap would be, the final two claps mean 7 minutes is off, and you're given 15 seconds to do whatever you're supposed to do. After that, you will be clapping on continuously until you stop. So thank you very much. Apologies again to the audience about that. So all right. So if the opposition leader is set, we would hear from him or her.
My subscription, October. I take it. Yeah. I will have a
Before the opposition leader is not yet here. So before then, please, if to the debaters, if you want to request for POI, unmute your mic. Make sure you're coming and request for the POI, please.
the mic. I was correct.
Opposition leader, floor is yours.
Yes, I'm sorry for that. My mic was muted. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed agitators, and my honorable co-debaters, I will not call them my opponents, as my MP just said, but I will not call you my opponents, but I will call you my co-debaters. I am Marisawale from Madhya Pradesh. Against the motion, this House believes that the local government commission of inquiries is a misplaced priority. The presentation will focus on the importance of the inquiry in relation to governance, accountability, and addressing local issues. Today, I stand before you to confirm, oppose firmly the motion that states this House believes that the local government commission of inquiry is a misplaced priority. As the representative of Madhya Pradesh, we argue that such an inquiry is in fact a necessary and vital component of our government governance framework. Let's talk about promoting accountability and transparency. I had my co-debater, as she said, complaining about what a lot of youths are there without employment and the government is spending funds on the Commission of Inquiries. Yes, if there's no accountability, there will be no transparency. If there's no transparency, there is no trust in our governance system. My mother in the village, who lives there, who doesn't know where her tax paid money is good to, then this means this woman has every right to know where her money was used and how was it used and who used the money. But based on political appointments, based on what political loved, we voted for people whom we know that we believe that they can manage our local governments, but they are not doing it. They are embezzling our funds under taxpayers' funds. So this is the reason why promoting accountability and transparency is a key point in this sector. Investment mismanagement. Yes, let's look at Basay Area Council. I will just take an example of Basay Area Council, where the chairman rented a house in the Combos, and he lives in Basay Rada, and he is paying the rent. This rent money is paid from the taxpayers' money. So obviously, then this is called the mismanagement of our funds. We also talk about public oversight. All these are under accountability and transparency. Public overview. This inquiry purpose is not merely to investigate. It also serves to inform the public by shedding light on the governance practice. It promotes transparency, allowing citizens to understand how decisions affect their lives. Yes, my mother is paying tax and she is a farmer. She is a gardener in the Basay area, and she knows every year the local government normally come to the village and collect tax from her because of what the little plot of land that she has or the compound that she owns there. She needs to know where this money is used, and this money should be used in the perfect way. We also talk about understanding local issues thoroughly. Most of the people think this local government is not important, but this is the most important thing, because before the government addresses our issue, it's the local government that should address your issue in your area. Understanding local issues thoroughly. Next, we must recognize the incredible diversity and complexity of issues facing local governance, especially in the vast states like KMC, Brikama, Janjambure, and even Basay at large. I just refer you to somebody of CRR area council who employed his own children in the area council, and they were embezzling our funds. Without the implementation of the Commission of Inquiries, we will not be able to know what was done and how it was. Let's also talk about what Senbo Martin, who was using false checks from people, in fact, receipts, invoice, and she was doing her process based on these ones. We also talk about Jaja, who was in KMC. This Jaja also was doing the same thing. They were embezzling our funds just like that, and all these were embedded in the KMC there. Nothing was out, but because of the Commission of Inquiries, I myself who is speaking, I am aware of this. That's why we say understanding local issues thoroughly. Let's talk about multi-phase challenges. This issue we grabbed with range from tribal rights to agricultural distress and urban infrastructure deficits. For instance, many of our tribal communities face land rights issues and lack access to basic amenities. A comprehensive inquiry will help pinpoint these local challenges, ensuring that we craft informed policies that truly address the needs of these communities. In Basay, I will refer Basay because Basay is in the provinces, and we will come to KMC, we will come to Brikama, then next we will come to other areas in the Gambia. Basay, we have a bridge there in Kabakama, where you know that still now this bridge is cut. What happens to the bridge is because of what? Rainfall, rain always, and this bridge is still now, it is an intruder to the community of Kabakama. The local government, the chairman, the CEO, they are all sitting, traveling from Basay to Combo, from Combo to China, from China to Europe, doing tours, coming with nothing. The other time, what happened is that the CEO have to what? The CEO have to interfere. Why? Because of the chairman has that they made a budget, a procurement of 700,000, and that they should buy this material for 600,000, but they adjust it and put another 100,000 there, which is embezzlement of our funds. Let's also look at the fostering strategic reforms. With this local government, we'll have strategic reforms. A local government commission of inquiry does not just investigate the past, it can set the stage for future reforms. Policy recommendation is part of that, and we also talk about long-term vision. All this can be done during this Commission of Inquiries, and it can be implemented after the Commission of Inquiries. I was very disappointed the time I had my co-debater saying that unemployment and also talking about medicines and talking about the government spending a lot of money. What should be your topic is that, or what you should argue on is that the implementation, this is the most effective part here that should be done. Yes, the effectiveness of the implementation should be the point that should be talked about, but not to talk about unemployment and we have the lack of medicines and the hospitals shortage of etc. etc. We also talk about what past success. Yes, we look at the Commission of Inquiries, the Annual Commission. They have what? They recover a lot of money that was spent in the Gambia here. And we really can never know where those monies were spent. But because of the Commission, transparency, accountability has also arisen. We also look at what public. We also look at what, not accept this. Engaging committees and stakeholders. An inquiry holds should be viewed solely as a bureau statistic and there is to be processed, but as an opportunity to engage. In conclusion, I will talk about what? In conclusion, the Local Government Commission of Inquiry is not a misplaced priority, rather, it is a critical instrument for fostering accountability, understanding local challenges.
Thank you very much, Opposition Leader, for that. Please give us.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. The wait is finally over. The third edition of the Gam-Ind Interstate Debate Championship is here, bigger, bolder, and fiercer than ever before. I am Sergio A.K. Jaju, the president of the Association of Gambian Students in India. On behalf of the Education Ministry and, of course, the 9th Executive Council of the Association of Gambian Students in India, we welcome you to this electrifying intellectual battle where voices rise, ideas clash, and brilliance shines.
I am Kumba Suleiman Ba, winner and best debater of the first edition of the Debate Championship 2023 by Gambia Association. During this competition, I have seen how it builds confidence, sharpens voices, and then creates leaders. So if you have the opportunity to join this competition, please do join and get your awards. It's been very beneficial. Thank you so much.
David S. Jima here, Gambin's first ever most promising debater, and now the winner and best debater of the Made in Gam Diaspora Debate Championship. This platform really does transform dreams into legs.
Honorable Speaker of this House, in my capacity as the Deputy Opposition Leader, I brought fire to this floor. Hey everyone, my name is Fat Faye, winner and best debater of the second edition of the Gam-Ind Interstate Debate Championship. And trust me, this virtual stage is where greatness is born.
A clash of brilliance, a test of intellect, and a celebration of the power of words. I am Lewis, the Vice President of the Association of Gambian Students in India, and I assure you, this third edition is history in the making. Are you ready?
Are you ready? I'll be there, hoping to see you there.
All right, thank you very much, and apologies for keeping you waiting. Deputy Prime Minister, if you're set, the stage is yours.
May I confirm my audibility and my visibility, please? Am I visible and audible? We do not need a theater of testimony. What we need is justice in courtrooms and not drama in commissions. Every dollar is spent in the commission is a dollar stolen from the hospitals, stolen from schools, and stolen from the agricultural sector. Speaker of the House, in my capacity as the Deputy Prime Minister, please allow me to give you the structure of my debate. First of all, I will straighten the points of my beautiful Prime Minister because it is crystal clear that sees the sense in this House as far as I am concerned. Give 3 valid points backed by facts, statistics, and evidence, summarize, and in summary, I rest my case. Following the structure of my debate, Honorable Speaker, starting with the rebuttals. Honorable Opposition Leader,
Are you so okay? Like, are you okay? Just for confirmation though, you came before this honorable house, which consists of intellectuals and not just effulefuls like yourself. You have the audacity to come with no structure of your debate. Like, are you serious? Okay, instead you are talking about accountability. You came here talking about accountability and transparency. We on government side agree that accountability is vital. It is very vital. But accountability already exists through permanent institutions like the Auditor General, the Anti-Corruption Commission, and the Public Accounts Committee. Why waste scarce resources duplicating what is already in place? Like, why? And you also came here, you were talking about your mother is a farmer and the local government comes to collect tax from her. I mean, how does that concern us? How does that concern this house? How does that even concern with the debate? Please, next time you come to this house, make sure you pour sense into our heights. And you also talking about the local commission was embezzling funds, which you got to know about during the local commission of inquiry. When you got to know about it, what did they do? Was there an accountability given? I mean, how? What did they do? What? Just bunch of papers. You are hungry. You need accountability. You need reforms. You need reparations, and not just bunch of papers. Moving on, Honorable Speaker, going to the strengthening of the points of my beautiful Prime Minister. As I said, she's the only one with sense in this house. She talked about first of her point was politically driven. I mean, the Gambia Democratic Congress, which is the GDP, described the 2023 Commission of Inquiry into councils as politically motivated, said it was aimed at distracting from issues, mismanagement of funds, etc., and to influence upcoming local elections, which is very, very true. So now, the next of her point, her second point was about the healthcare, which is underfunded. I mean, Gambia only have 7 general hospitals. The whole Gambia have only 7 general hospitals, which is the RVT, which is the Banjul, the Bansan General Hospital, the Bian General Hospital, and so on and so forth. And this report was given by the GBOS to further strengthen her point that the Gambia's domestic general government health expenditure, therefore, which means what the government spends from its own revenue, it's only about 1.0 to 1.6% of its GDP in recent years. I mean, you can imagine. And her last point was about youth unemployment. I mean, that is very, very true. I mean, a survey was conducted by the GBOS in 2012 that 48% of the youth are unemployed in the Gambia. So before wasting billions and millions on commissions that will only bring papers and no implementation should be done. I mean, your youths are there unemployed and hungry. Better focus on them. Moving on to my points, Honorable Speaker. First of my point is national priorities are elsewhere. I mean, Gambia faces urgent socio-economic crisis, as we all know. And another commission is just a luxury it can afford. Gambia is facing crises such as poverty, youth unemployment, I mean, debt burden, inflation, energy and infrastructure, underdevelopment, etc. Let's look at the statistics for poverty. I mean, a report was given by the World Bank at the Gambia Economic Update in 2024 that 53% of Gambians live below the national poverty line. You can just imagine. And for youth unemployment, in 2022, a survey was conducted by the Gambian Labor Force Survey that about 41% of Gambian youths are unemployed, which is one of the highest rates in West Africa. For debt burden, let's take a look at debt burden, the public debt that Gambia has. I mean, Gambia has a lot of debt, especially public debt. Gambia has right now, Gambia's debt is equal to 84% of its GDP in 2023 and leaving little physical space. Debt serving takes up to nearly 40% of government revenue reports by the International Monetary Fund. This was reported by the International Monetary Fund report in 2024, etc. So, Honorable Speaker, in a country where half of the people are poor, where 4 in 10 young people have no jobs, and where the government spends 40% of its revenue on debt repayment, it is a misplaced priority. So to power millions, it's a misplaced priority to power millions of commissions instead of investing in jobs, electricity, I mean the agricultural sector, etc. Moving on to my second point, Honorable Speaker, which is public demand. The public demand is for justice and not more inquiries. Gambians already know the truth. I mean, we all know the truth. They are demanding prosecution. They are demanding reparations. They are demanding reforms and not more inquiries, I beg. So, let's look at the TRIC findings. The TRIC, as we know, exited from 2017 to 2021, which already produced 427 findings and 218 recommendations. I mean, after 93 public hearings and 2,500 witness statements, this was the TRIC final report in 2021. Let's look at the victim members. The TRIC identified 1,006 victims eligible for reparations. Imagine 1,006 victims that are eligible for reparation. And guess what? As of the 2023, only $50 million, which is equivalent to United States dollars, 838,000 United States dollars, has been disposed. I mean, only 50 million has been disposed to these victims and leaving the other victims still waiting. This was a report by the Ministry of Justice from 2019 to 2022. So we call for reparations. As a government, we call for reparations. We call for prosecutions and we call for reforms, not new goddamn commissions or whatsoever. So My third point, Honorable Speaker, is past commissions of the Gambia have failed. We all know that the past commissions of the Gambia have failed. Let's look at some. There are commissions that existed before this local commission of inquiry. So Gambian history proving commission waste resources and rarely lead to accountability. According to the Wikipedia, there have been at least 6 to 10 commissions or major commissions of inquiry in the Gambia over the past few decades. Let's take an example of the Jani Commission, which existed from 2017 to 2019. The TRRC from 2017 to 2020, which is the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission. Let's look at the Commission of Inquiry into ex-President Jammeh's assets and financial transactions. Let's look at the Commission into the conduct of all local government councils, etc., which existed from 2018 to 2023. Then let me ask this Honorable House, then why repeat failure? I mean, why repeat failure? To summarize my debate, Honorable Speaker, I came before this House. I rebutted the baseless points given by the opposition leader. In fact, opposition, they have to check yourself. Stating the points of my beautiful Prime Minister, give 3 valid points backed by facts, statistics, and evidence. My first point was national priorities are elsewhere. My second point is public demand is for justice and not more inquiries. My third point is past commissions in the Gambia have failed. Then to conclude, I will repeat by telling this House that we do not need a theater of testimony. What we need is justice in courtrooms and not drama in commissions. Therefore, thank you all for your kind attention.
Thank you, Deputy Prime Minister, for that. Again, just 2 minutes while the team of adjudicators work on tabulating the parts. All right. Thank you very much once again. That leads us to the final speaker or final debater for tonight. So, Deputy Opposition Leader, if you're set, we would hear from you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen. And as the deputy leader of the opposition, my duty today is to threefold, which is to defend and strengthen our case to rebuild against the government's weak attacks, and to address reasons why inquiry is not a misplaced priority, but also a tool to restore public trust. Okay. The first point is the Deputy Prime Minister has said every dollar which is used in initiating the local government commission of inquiry is a loss or is a trust. But I say that is a misguided statement from her, because using less millions in the commission of inquiry to make sure there are hundreds and hundreds of millions recovered, I don't see that as a misguided priority, because it is used recovering just like an investment, which is uncovering all the corruptions that has happened. And when it comes to the development and also building of construction of roads and also medicines for hospitals, in doing that, the millions that are stolen or mismanaged in the local governments can be used in helping buy medicines for hospitals and also pave roads for people to use. And the people living in those public communities always pay taxes to make sure their needs are met. So we entrust those leaders or maybe those people that are working on the local government to make sure those needs are met. So some people pay taxes and they never benefit from those taxes. So I believe the local government or commission of inquiry is there to uncover every corruption that has happened, and people also should know where their money are going to, where their monies are going to as well. So the second point is about accountability. So accountability is not like fast food. So you cannot just make it happen there instantly. It's all about process and procedures. So the most important point is the first part of accountability is already there, which is uncovering the corruptions that we have made. So the next step is about we have to put in measures, gather evidences, and also some testimonies from people to make sure they are prosecuted, and also we have the right things that should be reinstalled to gain the trust of the public again. And also we have the embezzlement of funds. When it comes to the embezzlement of funds, I believe there are people working in the local government which they are not loyal to their own people that they are serving, because people entrust you to be in that position to serve them, but embezzlement continues. So I believe without the local government commission of inquiry, us as citizens or living in the local government, we will not know about it, because we have had millions and millions of dollars that have been embezzled by these people working under these local governments. Like we have the Brikama, the former CEO of Brikama, Mamadou Janga, admitted like to missing over 30 million for the geology for the geology funds. So okay, in that 30 million, like misusing the 30 million, do you know like that 30 million how it will be used maybe to help the youth grow, develop, and also start innovating, and also make sure roads are paved, and also make sure the availability of medicines are met in the hospitals. So okay, so I believe the Commission of Inquiry is putting more efforts to make sure all people, everyone that is involved is well accountable for his or her own deeds and should be loyal to the people that the person is serving. So also when it comes to the commission also is essential, because without the commission, you find it very, very difficult. You find it very, very difficult to survive and help others grow, especially the youth. And we have seen many, many projects that are given to local governments for the youth. But people, there's always people working on this local government who brings, which, you know, like they always bring their close family or relatives to gain from those projects, while leaving the people that are needing that projects, okay, to use it to benefit themselves and also people living around them. So okay, my other point is about the bringing of the new, about new arguments to restore. Okay, the Commission of Local Government of Inquiry helps restore public trust, and citizens are more likely to pay taxes and obey laws if they see corrupt officials being investigated. Without this trust, development programs will fall. The Deputy Prime Minister has also raised about development. We have urgent issues that we should concentrate on. Okay, those urgent issues cannot be met without funds available and proper management. So I believe there must be like, first we have to evade this corruption and make sure like there's free corruption, and then we start working on. We rejected. We start working on these projects and also development of the country. Yeah. So also when it comes to summarizing of the debate, then I think we have to vehemently stand with the commission and also help them in making work very effectively to make sure like we bring all these looters to justice, to make sure they face the consequences that they should face as well. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Deputy Opposition Leader, for that. So that leads us to the end of this debate. Not the end, almost the end. So what we would do as adjudicators is hand over back to the moderators of this event while we work on getting you the final score. So honorable moderators, we are handing over back the baton to you.
Thank you. Okay. Please, if you're back, just kindly let us know. Thank you so much once again, and to everyone that debated. Now the floor is open for contribution. If you have anything to say with regards to the topic, please, and not to any debater, you may kindly raise your hand. Mr. President, please, the floor is yours. You may come in.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Thank you very much, Deputy Education Minister, and of course to all the debaters and the education decks. I believe the commencement of this debate is it's not gonna be easy anyway. So from the look of things, as debaters would always say, the house is already on fire. Yeah, so To the motion that is debated, which has to do with the local government council of inquiry, whether it's a misplaced priority or not. So, as far as the motion is concerned, I believe both sides of the equilibrium did very well. At some point, some might argue that, like, when it comes to the side of like the formation of the said is a misplaced priority, maybe probably emanating from the education side, the health sector, at some point, maybe the issue of elections and all those things. And I believe debaters had echoed that. Again, you might have the opposition also clinging on to the fact that it's not a misplaced priority because one of the fundamentals of democracy or fundamentals of any, thriving economy or country, it have to do with how well they go about the how do I put it again? Like their accountability and transparency to some extent. So I suppose, as far as the whole motion is concerned, it's quite timely, and the debaters did absolutely well as far as it is I'm concerned. And we pray and hope that I know the adjudication desk is put to task. A very high test in this regards. But then we look forward to the analysis that the adjudicators would give. And I just want to say one thing, mind you, the remark we'll be making here does not have any influence on the side of the adjudicators. Per se, they might even be locked up at some point. So, like, what is debated is what they'll be adjudicating on. So, let us all feel free to raise our hands up, echo our voices as far as this is concerned. I believe it'll go a long way for us. Yeah, so that being said, thank you very much. Back to you, Deputy Education Minister.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Also, thank you for reminding that this contribution won't affect adjudication in any way. Mr. VP, please, you may come in.
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Moderator. Assalamu alaikum. Hope my voice is not echoing. I'm using two devices. Hope the other one is not echoing.
It is, it is.
Okay, let me just step out. Yeah, I'm very sorry for that. Yeah, so for me, my contribution will be very short because as we, for me, the main problem of the Gambian government right now is implementation. That is where the wasting comes in for me, because you cannot spend tons of money or millions as they always say, because you don't even have small money when it's about creating commissions of inquiry or even local government commissions. They are talking about millions that people in the Gambia you don't even you know so these are things where the waste come in. Even if you implement, if the commission is set, after that do the implementation. Then the money, we will know that okay, the money has been put into good use. But at the end of the day, you will not put it into implementation, or you will not even accept some of the some of the recommendations that were brought forward by the commission. So for me, to be honest, I will not be on one side, because to be honest, it's very good, to set your leaders, put them into accountability. That is very good, because we see, okay, what these local government commissions are revealing. We see what is going on right now. I don't want to mention a certain political figure, but we all know, if we are watching, we are following the local government commission. We see what is happening. We see the embezzlement. They cannot even cover it. It's there in the light. They cannot even cover it. But what will the government do about it? What will they do about it? That is the problem. Later, if all this money is spent, yeah, okay, now you have the results. What are you going to do about it? So that is where the problem is coming. Even okay, let me just move a bit out of this topic. Look at the 2020 draft. The 2020 draft. If we spend millions of money, and at the end of the day, they throw it into the bin. So for us, the main problem we have is implementation. If this local government commission recommendations are implemented, then I support it 100%. Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Moderator. That was my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. VP. Back to the audience. If you guys have any contribution, kindly raise your hands, please. Deputy Info, please, you may comment.
Yes, thank you, Deputy Education Minister. Am I audible? All right. Good evening, everyone. First of all, let me just commend both teams for a very engaging and thought-provoking debate. The motion, I think, touches on an issue that is highly relevant in today's governance and development discourse, especially in the Gambia. So, from the debate, I actually observed that both sides raised strong and valid points. On one hand, we heard how commissions of inquiries are important tools for accountability, transparency, and restoring public trust in governance. On the other hand, the opposing view rightly reminded us that the inquiries often consume significant resources, time, and attention that could otherwise go into urgent development needs such as healthcare, infrastructure, and education, etc. In my own view, the real challenge is not about choosing one over the other, but also striking a balance. Accountability and development should not be seen as competing priorities, but rather as a complementary. A commission of inquiry should be time bounded, transparent, and efficient. So that delivers results without delaying much needed progress in our communities. And also at the same time, development programs must continue in parallel because citizens' immediate needs cannot wait for inquiries to actually complete before the government continues on doing what they have to do as a government. So going forward, I would just like to suggest three things. That is, set clear time frames and budgets for inquiries to prevent them from becoming endless exercises. Because we have seen some over a few days ago, one of the commission of inquiries in the Gambia, a particular individual was present for almost more than a week, coming today, tomorrow. So that is just waste of time. So also ensure transparency and follow through on recommendations. So inquirers doesn't lose credibility. Like the previous speaker mentioned, when recommendations are made from the commission, I think those recommendations should be implemented, and also engage citizens in decision making so that governance reflects both accountability and development priorities. Thank you. I think that is my suggestion.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Deputy Info. If any of you have any other contributions, please, the floor is still open. You may kindly raise your hand. Deputy, please, you may come in. The floor is yours, please.
I would just want to say that I think that was very good debate, and the motion was highly contested. Both teams brought forward very cogent arguments to back their sides of the motion, which is quite exciting to see. And given that this is the first debate that we've had, who stood to debated really well. So congratulations. So I'll start with the Prime Minister. I'll give individual feedbacks, but please, these are they are noteworthy points, and they ahead of your future debates. They're just meant to make you better debaters and better speakers in wherever you may find yourself, whether it's debate platform or whatever platform it may find you. I think I should put my hand down now. Okay, so I'll start with the Prime Minister. So I would always say the responsibilities of the Prime Minister are mega. You have a lot of responsibilities. So the Prime Minister fulfilled some responsibilities, most responsibilities, which is quite good. You started with the definition of the key terms, which is of course expected. First, you give a structure, and you follow that structure. Personally, I'll be very particular about that. Giving structure is one; it does not get you the full marks. Following them is very, very important, and you were able to do just that. So it's a very good thing that you did that. You define the key terms, and these key terms can be very tricky, because if you define local government commission of inquiry as one, it would mean one thing, and we would all know what it means. But if you define them separate, it becomes something else. Yeah, it broadens it. But I or the team of adjudicators are in no position to tell you how to define it. It's for the opposition to challenge the definitions and twist the debate. Unfortunately, we did not see any of that. So we take your definitions as correct and valid. So you were able to define every key term in the motion, which is of course good. So you give very cogent points, very, very good points, I'd say. My only problem with the points is I would always encourage debaters, when you give very strong points, at the end of your argument or at the end of the explanation of that particular point, make sure you relate it back to the motion. Because if you talk about youth unemployment, we know it's a problem. If you talk about maternal mortality or the health sector of the Gambia, we know it's a problem. But these problems can be very generic, right? So unless you come back to say, okay, and this and this and this is how it affects the establishment of the commission that we are arguing about in the first place. But there was little of that. You explained youth employment being a problem. You gave us very good statistics, which are of course excellent. But always when you debate, make sure you come back and relate it to the motion. Like how does youth unemployment affect the establishment of the commission? And when you relate it, it's easy and very difficult to be challenged, because unless they come and say the youths are in fact employed by the commission. But of course, these are not arguments that these arguments did not come, and I'm in no place to do any rebuttals of your points. So they were good. My advice is whenever you give these good points, make sure you solidify them by making it more relatable to the motion. So the scope as well, I think you could have done better with the scope, because this House believes that the local government commission of inquiry is a misplaced priority, where it is not specified. What local government commission are we talking about? It is not specified. So for the purpose of you being in a very safe space, you could have just focused on one, because you hear people talking about TRRC, talking about, it's fortunate that nobody spoke about commissions that are established outside of the country. Of course, it's local, but local depends on who is speaking. Local commissions can be established in India, and you can just talk about that and confuse the entire House, but of course we were lucky to not face any of that. But as Prime Minister, it is your responsibility to establish the scope, or to just set a perimeter and tell us this is what we are going to talk about. It is not specified. So the specification could have been done better. You could have specified only the ones that are in the Gambia, or we're specifically talking about the ongoing one. We're talking about TRRC, because it's local. It depends on how you define. Like I said initially, if you define local government commission of inquiry as one, it would mean something. If you define government commission of inquiry, it would mean something else. But again, this is an advice. It was not contested by the opposition, so it stands. But for future debates, you want to narrow the motion to your advantage. So you may want to put a finger to that and make sure you work on that next time. Your research was very, very good. You were able to bring us statistics that were very relevant to your argument. It's good that it came up. And one thing that stood out for me is you had time to explain your points, and you even had time to do pre-rebuttals, which is quite good. When you do pre-rebuttals, you don't know whether these points will be brought forward by the opposition. But thankfully for you, they were points that were brought forward. So the points were even tackled before they came. So it's very good that you pre-rebutted, and a point, for most of the points, indirectly, you addressed were brought forward by the opposition. So it's good. You were not asked any POI. It's good. The last problem that I would highlight is the timing. So you had ample of time you could have taken your time to explain your points better. But of course, you did explain your points, but you debated for 5 minutes, 40 seconds. The consequences of under debating is it sends the impressions that you don't have enough substance to back your arguments. So if you debate for 5 minutes, it's a problem. You could have at least stretched it for 6 minutes or thereabout. But 5 minutes, 40 seconds is not the best timing. It's not the worst either. But I would encourage that you work on your timing. So that is all. But generally, it was a very good debate from the Prime Minister, considering the responsibilities of the Prime Minister and how well you were able to achieve some of them. So the opposition leader, you gave an outline of what your debate is going to be about. That is, you were going to focus on the importance of the inquiry. That was the statement that you started with, which is of course good. That is what you want to focus on. But the first problem was there was no structure. right? So when you're debating, you want to give a structure. So you guide yourself, you guide the audience, and you, of course, guide the adjudicators who you are trying to score points from. So if you're not able to give this, it becomes a problem. May not be a very big problem. I'm sure you knew, or I explained that, not in detail, but that you'll be graded on structure. So you give a structure and make sure you follow that structure. But it does not directly mean you say this and this and this is what I am going to do. But for your own good, it's good that you bring that out. But unfortunately, it did not come out. You did not give any structure. One fascinating thing about your argument was you were able to bring out a lot of points. And every point that you mentioned was very relevant. The problem again was the coherence of the points, right? Of the explanation of the points generally. So you brought a lot of points. If I would advise that when you have all of these points that are very relevant, sometimes you squeeze them and you make them one. If before bringing 7 points, you could have made them 4 points or 3 points and explain them, because most of them are relatable, right? So you put them together and explain them as one. It would make more sense that way than I'm not saying it's bad to bring many points. In fact, it was very good that you bring all of these points. They're very relevant, and I'm personally very impressed about how you were able to bring all of these points. I personally would never be able to do that. So I salute you for that. It's really good. I'm just saying that some points are very relatable, so you could have just explained them as one. I've already explained that the structure was a problem, not bringing structure. And again, I would advise, don't use personal statements to justify your point, right? Because if you say your mother or my mother from somewhere is struggling to do this, it's easy for anybody to come and challenge that point. Because just because my mother is facing certain challenges does not mean that someone else's mother is facing the same challenges. So if everybody has to bring in their own personal experiences or relate things to their personal stories, it becomes a problem. The debate would be stretched because people live in different situations and are faced or challenged with different circumstances. So just because something is challenging me does not mean it is challenging someone else. So avoid bringing personal statements because they really do not stand, right? Because it's easy to quash away. Anybody can just say, okay, your mother is facing this, but my mother is not facing that. So and we are talking about the general interest of the Gambia. So we want to base it on groups, based on facts that are of course reported, and the point would stand. But if you want to base it on personal experiences, it becomes easy to be quashed out. I already said you have a lot of information, and I was very impressed with that. You rejected a POI, but the good thing for you is when that POI was asked, it was already 6 minutes, so your time was protected at that particular point in time. So if not, you would have lost the POI. I don't know if you were aware or not, but you said POI rejected. I would advise all debaters, whether those who will be debating today, this is a bonus for you. Whenever POI is asked, try to take the first one. Because when you're debating with very, very good ones, or bad ones as opposition, bad debaters, when they ask one and you reject, you don't get the chance to receive another one because they would not ask. And you get to lose a whole 5 marks. And in debate, even 1 mark can be very consequential, or can cause a lot of consequences at the end. It may not just affect you, but affect the other person. The good thing for you, like I said, is the POI did not quite count because the time was already protected when the POI was asked. So another problem, your rebuttals. There was little or no rebuttals. At some point in your argument, you mentioned that the Prime Minister mentioned something and you tried tackling it, but there was no stretch rebuttals, or there was no intense rebuttals of the points that were brought forward by the Prime Minister. It was very flashy, right? As a result, I don't take it as rebuttal. I don't think you rebutted any point. And I think even with these points, some of them are rebuttals to the points that were mentioned. Youth unemployment, you could have addressed that. You could have addressed the health concern that she brought, but you did not address any of them. In fact, she rebutted your point, even though she came before you, because she had pre-rebuttal that she said you would discuss something about accountability, and she rebutted it. Unfortunately for her, and unfortunately for you, you spoke about accountability when you had a lot of points. If I were you, I would have just addressed it as a rebuttal and get on, given that I have a lot of points, and get to the other points. But the good thing for you, or takeaway for you, is you have information, and that is very, very important. And for a debater, that is one of your greatest assets heading into such battles. And finally, you over debated. You debated for about 7 minutes, 15 seconds. It's a problem. It means you don't know how to manage your. I'm not saying that is you. You're not. I'm sure you're not that type of person. But the impression that you send when you over debate is you're not good with time management. And time management is very, very important, regardless of what you do. Whether you're debating, whether it's public speaking, whether you're doing class presentation or whatever, whether you're giving feedbacks. If you're not able to manage time, it becomes a problem. So, but that is everything with the opposition leader. The deputy prime minister did well with the structuring, and again, you follow the structure, which is quite important. So, you reported the points, 2 points actually that were brought forward by the opposition leader. One being the accountability part, which was already reported by the prime minister, reported by the prime minister. It's good that you bring emphasis on that. But like I mentioned, the opposition leader brought a lot of points. You could have targeted a lot of points, then maybe that one would come last, given that you only have 7 minutes to do a lot of things. But you chose to focus on accountability and the personal statements, which I've already addressed that the opposition leader was focused on. So I think you could have done better with the rebuttals. The points that were mentioned were a lot. Do better. Make sure that whatever he mentions, even though there is little problem with the clarity, is he discussing this point or is he still substantiating a point? You may not be able to know, but you can note the points that you're very sure that these are points that were addressed by him. So when you come for rebuttals, it becomes easy for you. So I think you could have done better with the rebuttals, given that I know you're a good speaker. So try working on the rebuttals part, because like I said, every point matters and every point counts as far as debates and competitions are concerned. You cannot just, okay, it's just a rebuttal, let me give it flashy and move because I have a lot of things to discuss. So you could have done better with that. With the strengthening, it was done, and it was done really well. And you gave very, very good points. Again, the summary was better. I forgot to mention this with the feedback that I gave to the Prime Minister and the opposition leader. Your summaries were not the best. So giving summary saying that, Mr. Speaker, I have rebutted the points of this man, I have strengthening, that is not rebuttal. When you rebut, you give a detailed rebuttal. You don't have to be very detailed to say, I have rebutted and this and this and this point was mentioned during my rebuttal, this and this point was mentioned during my strengthening. But when you're giving a summary and you get to mention the points that I've given 4 points, make sure you tell us what points that you get. That is the whole essence of the rebuttals. But if it is just giving a highlight of what you've done, you don't actually hit the nail. So make sure you do. That is how you work on your rebuttal. But for you, the rebuttal was better than the first 2 speakers. So kudos. That is everything with the deputy prime minister. The deputy opposition leader. Again, the same problem. There was no structure. As a result, there was little clarity over what you were doing. When you started off, I thought you were rebutting because you straight went on to saying or attacking a statement that was made by the deputy prime minister. So yes, the deputy prime minister, which is of course good. That is what is expected of you, to challenge every point that is brought forward by your opposition. I'm sorry you said your co-debaters, right? But it stopped at that. The moment you mentioned what he said and you addressed it, you went straight on to mentioning points. Some points were already, in fact, mentioned by your bench member, or your prime minister, or your opposition leader, if you like. So there was little clarity over what you were doing. I don't mean it in any bad way. What I would advise is when you're debating, especially as deputy opposition leader, a lot of things is expected of you. You're expected to give a structure. It's like I said, giving a structure goes beyond you saying, I'll do this, this, and this, and this. Just make sure that there is clarity on your debate, or at least when you're doing something, let the judges or the audience know this is what he or she is doing. Then we have a very easy flow. But sometimes you come and you give very good statements, but we don't know where to put it or where to classify it under. Is it under rebuttal? Is it under strengthening, or is it under justification of your very points? So it's very good for you to give structure. It helps you a lot, more than it helps anybody. So you gave good points. Some points, as I mentioned, were already brought forward by the opposition leader. So you're not expected to do that. Maybe they were strengthening, but you did not mention. And that is where the funny part comes in, because as an adjudicator, I am not expected to do the thinking for the debaters, or to be that lenient to the extent of assuming things for the debaters. The debaters are expected to be very direct with their points and be very clear with what they are doing. So you rejected a POI as well. I said POI, accepting a POI is a mark. Answering the POI right is a mark. So accepting it would not cost you anything, and you are at the liberty to answer. You will not be asked for clarity after you answer. You can just go on ahead, give an answer, and move on, and you score your points. I'm not encouraging you to do that. I'm just saying that there is consequences to rejecting POIs. So, and I would expect that you accept some POIs, or one at least POI, especially the first one, very important, given the intensity of this of this championship. Because I know there are very good debaters here, so you don't want to miss out on few points that you can actually easily accumulate. So I mentioned no structure, strengthening as well. It's very important for you to strengthening, because some points that were mentioned by the opposition leader were already addressed. So when you come back, it's your responsibility to bring it back to life, but that was not done as well. The little coherence part I have already mentioned. I don't want to go over it. The time that you take to explain your points as well. You had a lot of time. You could have spent that time better, I believe, because you had some points that needed better explanation, better presentation of justifications, but you did not quite spend that time to do that. You, in fact, concluded the debate very early. So you under-debated. And as I've mentioned, when you under-debate, it sends the impression that you do not have enough justifications to back your argument. So going forward, maybe you can work on some of the things that I mentioned. And I want to say that for most of you, I may focus on the things that I find faulty in your arguments. It does not mean you did not do anything good. You did very, very, very good, especially given that this is the first round that we're having for this year. I think it's a very, very good. Like I said during the beginning, every debater here deserves a round of applause, especially if you're debating for the first time. That was not by any means an average debate. It was well contested. It was very much debated. So I am not a fan of giving the final scores. So I would call on my co-judges to do the presentation or give us the final scores for today's debate. And again, it's an opportunity to be here, and it's very good to see familiar faces amongst the audience, and of course, familiar faces in the executive. I am really proud of what you achieved. Congratulations to all of the debaters again. Pleased to be here. Bye-bye. Are you with us?
Yes, I am. Give me a minute. Sorry, that my phone is a bit hot, so it's slow.
I think it's good.
So I think we made a one thing that I forgot that we could have said was to have their names, but then I think by their roles we'll be able to identify each and every one of them. So for the case of, we would start with the scores of the Prime Minister, who scored 67 points from, I'm very sorry, I'm finding it hard to pronounce the name. I don't know, it's Madhya Pradesh, something like that. So the Prime Minister scored 67 points. The Deputy Prime Minister scored 74 points. The opposition leader scored, sorry, this is not the final, but let's, oh God, I'm finding. The Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister from Madhya Pradesh scored a total of Wait, give me a minute. I forgot that we had different results, even though we all agreed on the same thing. Which one are we going by? Can you guys give me a minute? I'll get back to you. Okay, I guess we would just announce the best speaker and also just the winner and the runners up. So the best speaker goes to the Deputy Prime Minister from Madhya Pradesh, and the first runners up goes to Punjab, and the winners for these rounds
Miss Mbuj,
so
may I
just
please?
so I were trying to identify which squad.
Yes, that's what I want to explain. On the proposition side, it's Punjab, and Madhya Pradesh is the opposition bench.
Oh, okay. So wait, Madhya Pradesh is the what?
Opposition. They were the opposition. They were against the motion.
Okay. Give us a minute.
So we are trying to justify what the president said, that the judges have been put to test, and indeed we've been put to test. So we want to deliver a very just judgment on the debate. So you please give us some time to do the final to give the final result.
Okay. So apologies for that. I guess I am as nervous as some of the debaters that are waiting for their results as well. So just to mention the scores that each of the debaters have. The Prime Minister scored 73 points. So the proposition bench is Punjab and the opposition is Madhya Pradesh, right? So the Prime Minister scored a total of 73 points. The Deputy Prime Minister scored a total of 75 points. And these two participants are from Punjab. From Madhya Pradesh, we have the opposition leader who scored a total of 54 points, and the opposition leader, that is the deputy opposition leader, scored a total of 40 points. Now, to have these are individual marks, And then we have a best speaker, which we all agreed on to be the Deputy Prime Minister of the House from Punjab. And a total, so now we would announce the first runners up, which is Madhya Pradesh with a total of 67 points. That is Madhya Pradesh. And the winners of the first round of the third edition of the Gam-Ind Debate Championship is Punjab with a total of 74 points. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Miss Bush, and congratulations to both Punjab and Madhya Pradesh. That was really well contested. I guess that brings us now to the end of the session today, and we have another session tomorrow. Just a key reminder. The total points is not clear. Sorry, Miss Muj, if you can elaborate more on the total points of each state, please, just once.
Okay, I would also send it in the group in case you guys want to see. So, as I said, the Prime Minister from Punjab scored a total of 73 marks. The Deputy Prime Minister from Punjab scored a total of 75 marks. The opposition leader from Madhya Pradesh scored a total of 54 points, and the Deputy Opposition Leader scored a total of 40 points, with the government known as Punjab scoring a total of 74 points, and the opposition known as Madhya Pradesh scoring a total of 67. How is this achieved? We add both marks of from the same team and divided by 2. That gives you the total. So the government bench scored a total of 74 points, and the opposition scored a total of 67 points. Thank you.
Thank you so much for repeating that again. Well, as I said, that brings us now to the end of the session. But last thing on our agenda, we will invite the VP, Mr. Vice President, please, for the closing remarks.
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum once again. Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. Am I audible? Yeah. So I will start by saying congratulations to all the participants for today. It was really a good debate, to be honest. I am Modul West, the Vice President of the Association of the Gambian Students in India. On behalf of the President and the entire executive, on behalf of the President and the entire executive, I want to express my sincere gratitude to everyone who made this event possible. This debate has provided a platform for critical thinking, insightful decision, and the exchange of diverse perspectives of important issues. I commend all the debaters for their hard work, preparations, and the courage to articulate their viewpoints. Your engagement has enriched our community and fostered a deeper understanding of the complexities we face. I also want to thank the organizing committee, which will be the UTGDA Debate Association, the Education Department or the Education Ministry of the 9th Executive Council, and the technical team, the Information Ministry. And I would also want to thank the judges for their expertise and the audience for their active participation. This debate reflects the values of our association, promoting intellectual discourse, encouraging civic engagement, and empowering Gambian students in India. I hope this event has inspired us all today to continue seeking knowledge, challenging assumptions, and contributing to the betterment of our society. Thank you very much once again for all the participants and all the audience who came to witness this debate today. Don't forget to meet us here at the same time tomorrow to witness the debate of another 2 states, which is Tamil Nadu and our big boys, the city boys at Delhi. Thank you very much. You all have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you so much, VP. Thank you so much for those wonderful closing remarks. I guess that brings us now to the end of this session. Once again, congratulations to all the team that participated today. And also thank you to the adjudicators for adjudicating this session. And we hope to see you all tomorrow, inshallah. Have a good night. Thank you.